I'm Paranormal Pete, and I'm on a journey to seek answers to the questions that have crossed all of our minds. What happens to us when we die? Is there an afterlife? I'm a regular guy who discovered the gift of psychic mediumship in my 30s. My passion for history and the unknown have put me right here, right now. My mantra for anything paranormal is, we don't know much and anything is possible. Join me as we find our way through the stories, evidence, and experiences of the paranormal and beyond in search of answers, even if that leads to more questions. Are you with me? Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Peter Van. We're on episode 94 here. I'm really excited for tonight's show. I've got some good friends in the paranormal coming on tonight, Lance and Tami from the WWIPS team without an H. There's no H in that name. I made a typo. I'm excited to get those guys on the show tonight. I've investigated with them a few times, and great people, so excited for that. Big shout out to Todd Bates, owner of the station here at WLTK-DB.com, and he's also the host of Haunted Voices, running the ones and twos, making the ship run here, and it's just growing like crazy. The show's growing like a weed out there. I think we have 28 shows now, I think, ranging from true crime to cryptids to paranormal to self-healing. There's a lot of different cool stuff on the station, so check it out. If you like my show, you're going to like other shows. So please go through the website, WLTK-DB.com, and we've got this cool new thing that we're doing on the website that you can download the station's calendar and sync it with yours, so you'll see every show that's coming up when it gets scheduled there, so you don't miss your favorite show. But yeah, can't believe I'm on episode 94. Well, it's crazy. If you like the intro music, that's my band, Steady Rock Cosmonaut. There's my plug for the band. Go to steadyrockcosmonaut.com. And if everyone can send good energy to our drummer, Nick, and his family, I really appreciate that. So steadyrockcosmonaut.com, or find us on the socials under Steady Rock Cosmonaut. Next week, I'm bringing on one of my favorite paranormal investigators out there, Mr. Joe Teeples, is joining the show. Really excited to talk to him. The week after, I've got Oregon Ghost Conference coordinator Rocky Smith, or director, I should say, Rocky Smith, coming on the show, and we're going to be talking Oregon Ghost Conference and all the cool stuff that's coming up for Seaside, Oregon here at March 24th through the 26th. So I'm really excited. I'll be speaking there and helping with tours on one of the nights. So as a tour guide here in Port Gamble, it's cool to learn the facts about another place and the stories, and be able to share that and have experiences on the tours that then get added the next year. So I'm looking forward to that, but go to OregonGhostConference.com for that. I'm going to be taking, the show will be off on the last Tuesday of the month, but be returning in April as we get closer to the episode 100. And I'll be announcing one more guest for March here very soon. If you're interested, if you're in the Puget Sound area and you know where Port Gamble is, you want to do something paranormal, I've got a ghost walk next month on the 18th, and it's a 3-hour tour around this little creepy haunted town here. Actually, I don't know if it's creepy, it's cool. But that's coming up. You can get tickets at Port Gamble Paranormal. I want to also mention March 16th, I am joining up with Transcend with Debbie Romero, and at 7 p.m. we're doing a virtual mediumship demonstration or a gallery reading, and you can find out ticket info and get the link once you get a ticket at my website. So go to portgambleparanormal.com. Looking forward to doing a gallery reading. Those are always impactful and also fun. They're always a lot of fun. So portgambleparanormal.com for that. And then, of course, there's the OC Paracon coming up. I like to promote conferences, at least that I've been to, and hopefully going to more. as time goes on. But the OC Paracon down in Anaheim, it's going to be a 3-day conference this year, first weekend in October, put on by Henry San Miguel, a good friend of the show and host of Paranormal Perception. So go over to ocparacon.com and check it out. They've been announcing speakers, so it looks like it's going to be a really fun conference. That's in October. And then, of course, the Port Gamble Ghost Conference coming up, the 14th annual, November 10th through 12th. And 14 years of doing this conference. Well, 13 for me, but if you've been, hopefully you can come again. If you haven't been and you're looking to come to Seattle, be sure to hit that up. You can get the info for that at portgamble.com. And we got one person checking in, Courtney, saying hello. Thank you. And as we go through this conversation tonight, which is going to be really fun with Lance and Tami, ask questions, join the conversation wherever you're watching from. Just get in the comment box there. Maybe you're watching from WLTK-DB.com. There's a chat room in there. So go ahead and comment. We'll see it. And if we can get to the question, we'll get to it. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guests for tonight for episode 94, Lance Foss and Tami Langston, the they're co-founders of Western Washington Investigators of Paranormal Science, WWIPS.org. Go check out their website. They have a really cool website. I like how they've set up their team and just how they handle themselves in regards to the paranormal. And hopefully more and more people will do things like they do. But Lance is the locations manager, so it's his job to find and vet locations. And Tami's the team manager, so she probably has to tell everyone to behave. She's the team manager and lead investigator, and so is Lance. Tami brings over 20 years of experience in researching the paranormal and 10 years as a Six Sigma facilitator to the team. Lance tries to keep an open mind and not jump to conclusions. Job one is to try and find a rational explanation for what may be going on. Admittedly, that's not always possible where Ghost and Bigfoot are concerned. Love that. But let's get this going here. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So let's bring on Lance Foss and Tami Langston to the show. Woo!
Hey, Pete. God dang, I don't know. I can't speak for Tami, but I've been waiting for this.
All right.
We had to create our own podcast and our own team to do it.
Yeah.
Just to get on your show, honestly.
And I don't know how it works out, man. People just get booked. Well, no, I'm excited to have you guys on and to talk about investigation, equipment. I want to talk about your co-op. And a little bit, we'll throw a little bit of Bigfoot in there since I know you like that.
Absolutely. Tami likes the UFOs.
Well, I mean, who doesn't, right?
Right?
Lance, are you saying you don't like them? Oh,
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence.
Okay,
I'll say that.
You'd rather watch a monster movie than an alien invasion movie?
Oh no, I like a good alien invasion movie. At least I can figure those out.
Yeah, nice. Okay,
he just doesn't necessarily buy the whole alien invasion movie. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission there.
Yeah. Oh, we got a funny comment. I don't know if they're ready for all this yapping. That's me, I guess. I got another person checking in. Hi, good evening. Oh, thanks for watching Aspen. She remembers me from Debbie's show. Thanks for going live. Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching, guys. And anybody else who's watched the show before, or if you're new to the show, let us know. But I want to hear about the team. I want to hear about, we'll get into the podcast in a little bit, their podcast, Because It's Paranormal. But I kind of want to talk about the team a little bit. How'd you guys get into starting the team? Were you part of other teams and then you were like, screw this, we're making our own team? How did it go for you guys making the team?
Kind of, sort of. I've been in teams before in the past, and it's really funny because I was in a team many, many years ago with my best friend that I've known since like middle school.
Okay.
And I won't tell you how old I am, but it's a long time. And now we're back together in a new team. And she is our head research person and lead investigator. And I mean, she has as much experience as I do on the team. And uh, like when you said I'm the team manager, so it's my job to keep everybody in line, I wish I could say that. I wish I could say, settle down, or anything like that. But it's really is a friends and family kind of team, and we have besties. We're in a relationship. Another couple of our investigators are in a relationship, and two of our investigators are my sons. So I
Awesome.
have some weight here and some not so much. And whether they listen to me is,
Yeah.
it's kind of a crapshoot. But
And then there's Travis.
and then there's Travis listens to no man. We've been threatening him with putting a camera on him and just letting him run around and be Travis, because he is his own animal. You'll have to see him in action
It would
at some point.
It would make some really good comedic outtakes.
It
There
really
you go.
would.
Nice. Well, if you ever film a documentary, then you've got that covered.
That's actually in the works, but it's not a documentary. It's going to be an ongoing show on YouTube.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh.
Way out in the future, but
Okay. Well, we'll look for that then. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to have you back on when you guys are getting ready to do that.
Yeah.
So what's been like, from your prior experience, what was something when you guys started the team that you knew from experience, let's not go down this road, let's make sure we do this? What were some of those things that you guys decided in forming the team?
I'm not one to mention names, and I will never mention other team names.
Oh yeah,
unless it's
yep.
But we did start out kind of attached to another team.
Okay.
And we were just a little too serious, I guess, because we're goofballs on our podcast. We're goofballs, when we're not investigating. But the minute we show up on site, it's all business. And
Okay.
yeah, we'll have fun. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But we're all business, and we take the science side pretty seriously. And so that was where we kind of put a crowbar and stuff, because we have a few different opinions than a lot of other teams. But it was just a really bad chemistry. And that's where we were just like, we need to just venture out on our own.
I think that's why we doubled down on the science, because it's not, I am as curious as the next guy. I love everything paranormal. I want to know about telekinesis. I want to know about psychic mediumship. I want to know everything. I just think it's absolutely fascinating. But for me, it's the difficulty of actually proving that that's happening.
Right.
And I'd love to at some point get to a place where you could say, I can prove that this pendulum is doing what it's supposed to be doing, or doing what they're saying that they're doing. But really it is a lack of data, I think. And that's kind of where we're coming from, is we could do so much more experimentation. We could do experimentation really on anything paranormal. It's all about just being able to get the data, and being only one team, or having several teams even doing it but not ever sharing data, is really hard to get to a place where you can say, okay, it looks like this is a curve. this is recurring, this is repeatable. And so we can take a different stance at it and get a hypothesis going.
And that's, we are currently in the middle of an experiment where we won't go into details because we don't want to throw the chickens out yet. But but
the chickens out.
But for example, we are conducting an experiment to basically narrow down on the EM spectrum where spirits resonate. And the implications of that down the road are just tremendous because of the scientific equipment that could be invented from that data. So I mean, we are conducting scientific research when we are on an investigation every single time.
Well, so let me ask you this without throwing the chickens out here.
Okay.
Or the eggs. So far are you in the testing phase? Are you in the, kind of putting the theory together? What kind of phase are you in with the experiment? I'll ask that first.
I kind of feel we're still kind of in the hypothesis stage of it.
Okay.
Because, it's figuring out which pieces of equipment will work best for it, like a tri-field meter so far is the best thing, we can afford, admittedly. But, and it's also going to enough places that we know for a fact are haunted. And we can use those places repeatable, to get that repeatable evidence. Because that's, as anybody may know, that's the scientific method, is you have to be able to repeat the data every single time.
Right. And in a lot of these locations, you can set the same controls that you have per location. So you're kind of in the hypothesis phase still. Has any of the research, this is what I wanted to get to, was has any of the research shown some roads for you to go down yet?
Places not to go, more than anything.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Well, and I think that if you can collect enough, EVPs, that you can look and see where are they coming from, in what decibel level, what frequency, where are these coming from? And if you log enough temperature, barometric pressure, any of those things, if you can log enough of them, then the theory is you know what you're looking for, right?
Sure.
The problem right now is we have no idea what we're looking for, and we're just throwing all of this equipment at it going, ooh, it beeped, right? It beeped. What does that mean? I don't know.
Right. I think that makes me think of, like, when you're reviewing audio using the spectrograph, to kind of chart that out. And I've noticed sometimes I guess I haven't logged it as detailed as I should, but when there's an EVP, then I don't know if there's a difference between the range with a disembodied voice versus an EVP or not. I don't know if I could say one way or the other, but sometimes the EVP, the voice or whatever, is way high up in the spectrum, like out of our range. I've never had one be lower that I've found yet, but I'm sure that happens. But sometimes they're also right in the range of human, like what we can hear, or human vocal range too. And so I find that kind of interesting that, it comes in kind of both ways, but is there a better way that you can encourage that to come through?
Right. Can you isolate that? Because like
it's interesting.
Looking at it in spectrograph, sometimes you can see it before you even listen to it. And you go, what is that? What is that anomaly?
You see it coming up the line there, and you're like, wait,
exactly.
that's above 20,000 hertz. What's going on there?
Yes.
Yes. It's happened to me so many times, and Tami too, we'll be sitting there reviewing audio, and it's like, before anybody hears it, everybody's like,
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Yeah. And that's the exciting stuff. Well, let me ask you this, just because I'm curious. Between the two of you, what is your favorite type of data to review? Is it audio, photo, or video?
To be fair, because
Whoa.
I haven't gotten any photo evidence, it's definitely EVP. I mean, I still, feel
So
like
you like
that.
the audio?
I feel like, that 5-year-old on Christmas morning, every time I hear an EVP that we've captured, it's just
Yeah.
Christmas,
I agree with that, and I don't even if I listen to audio and I don't hear an EVP, I'm still glued to that audio. I'm so intent and I'm listening, and it is kind of that excitement every time of
Yeah.
what was that? And then you go back and listen to it and you're like, it's a car outside, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but it's still exciting in that
Yeah.
moment that you hear
And
it. So
you never know what you're gonna get until you listen to it.
right.
Yeah.
And
And I think, a lot of people gravitate towards audio, I think, because your eyes get tired faster than your ears do, right? At
well,
least,
that and we haven't gotten our body cams yet, because I've seriously been in a situation where I wished I had one, because I saw a
yeah.
shadow person at St. Ignatius Hospital, but was never able to fast enough to get the, gosh
Yeah.
darn
Camera. Yeah.
cell phone camera out.
Yeah.
You're never pointing in the right direction.
Yeah. I had a couple of people on my special investigation last Saturday that they had a couple of IR body cams. And so I asked if when they look at the footage, let me know what they thought about them.
Yes.
So yeah, there's so many times I mean, how many thousands of investigations that have taken place, and so many people have those stories of it was right there in front of me. I didn't have a camera. I
Right.
couldn't get it
Oh,
out
for
fast
real.
enough. So yeah, that's a great call. One other question I had thought of, just because it's always interests me where people are at in regards to the paranormal. Excuse me. And this one might be a little tricky for you. Would
Oh
you
boy.
sorry, I just realized this one just might be. What do you consider yourself, an open skeptic, a believer, or a skeptic?
Oh Lord, I knew this, and I knew this question was coming.
It's a good one.
It is.
I
You
mean, what
go
do you think?
first.
What do you think? And I'm talking currently, not like,
Yeah.
20
Right.
years ago or something, but like currently, where would you put yourself?
Well, I am super analytical. I'm
Yeah.
that person. Like, I love numbers, I love data, I love spreadsheets. I'm a nerd like that, right? And so I want to think analytically, but I'm totally a believer. I mean, as far as there is something out there, there's something out there that's intelligent. Um, I don't know personally whether it's an afterlife or it's
Yeah.
is it
A
when your
different
energy leaves
existence.
your body, is
Yeah.
it just what sticks together
A,
that's remaining conscious? Is
sure.
it that we're all a part of a spider web of conscious energy that wraps around the world? I don't know, but
Right.
I'd love to know, and I absolutely believe that there's something out there that we
Yeah.
don't understand.
Now ask her about Bigfoot.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, Tammy, it sounds to me like open skeptic. I think if you're in the field, and to push the field and push the research, you have to be open minded. And so it sounds like you're kind of the open skeptic, the analytical side of things,
Oh, yes.
Lance had talked about it, for his bio about try and look at any other cause before it's paranormal. And so, Lance, where do you stand? Where do you put yourself?
And in some respects, I think that nails it, because I have seen way too much, heard way too much,
Okay.
been scratched, um, tugged on, pushed too many times to not be a believer. But, and here's the great big capital all caps BUT. When I show up at an investigation, I do my absolute very best to throw all of that in the back seat and show up at that location, open-minded, but ready to debunk everything I see and hear, because you have to, or your data and your evidence is biased.
Yeah. I mean, would you say that it's you've heard me talk on the show before about setting your intent, you know, before an investigation and all that. Do you guys, I know you're open-minded because of the things you've experienced. Do you guys do anything to like prepare yourself mentally before you start investigation? Is it like, do you try and, meditate, or do you do anything like binaural waves? Is there anything that you guys have done or tried?
I take my Adderall.
Okay. Perfect.
No.
And
whatever
I'm not
helps.
sure he takes Adderall.
Well, if you're supposed to take it, you should, take it as prescribed, folks.
Right.
But okay, so
no.
I was just wondering if you guys had went through a process or anything.
We don't go through a process. We don't have anything particularly special that we sit down and do, but I feel like just we get everything in there, and then we kind of have this, we're all together, we're like, whew, okay, like everything's set up, and we just kind of chill for a minute, and we're all such of a family that's kind of what focuses us and brings us down, grounds us.
You are doing something then.
We're doing something. We're doing something.
It may not be organized and in the handbook.
You're taking a minute. It sounds like, that sort of activity puts you present, makes you be there, to be open. That's really cool. Okay, well, we're going to take a station break here in just a couple minutes, and I'm saving the Bigfoot for after that.
All right.
But can you each give me your top 2 favorite places you've investigated?
No.
No.
The same.
Wow.
They're all equal.
Oh gosh.
I think
they all have their own special.
we're Geminis, and we're really
both of us.
We can't have a favorite thing.
Sure.
I would say right now we are hopped up on St. Ignatius still.
Awesome.
We really want to go back.
Oh god.
We just did a show on it, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. We're making plans about that.
Well, for those who don't know about it, tell what is St. Ignatius, so people know where you're investigating.
St. Ignatius Hospital is one that we want to go back to. It does cost a pretty penny to get there.
It's in Colfax, Washington.
But
so it's over on the other side. It's either super hot or super cold. I don't know if that affects the spirit activity.
It affects the human
we'll
activity.
We'll have to look into that,
sure.
but it definitely affects humans. But it was built in the late 19th century, and it was a working hospital up until
2003.
Forever. We know people who have I had my tonsils out at St. Ignatius. And to go in there now, it's it looks like it's been sitting for decades and decades. But it's such an intriguing building with such a history of the people who lived there and stayed there and worked there, that I think the story and the history alone, minus all of the things that you hear in there, is just outrageous.
And it is such a paranormal hotspot. If we had the money, that would be our laboratory for our experiment. Because it is just, you can't go, of course, still like any other, paranormal hotspot, There's days where nothing happens, but we were there just for one night with another team, and we had EVPs, we had shadow people, we had
disembodied voices with your own ears,
disembodied cough, my favorite
footsteps,
one.
so many things.
Nice.
It
So
was just
it's a
off
great
the
spot.
hook.
So Lance
It
heard
keeps
somebody
giving.
getting a physical,
I
turning cough.
I would like to think it was because, tuberculosis, but possibly. But
Just-
I would say that one, and my probably my all-time favorite, because I am a Mason, is Franklin Lodge number 5.
Here in Port Gamble. Nice.
Here at Port Gamble,
Yep.
yep.
Because
It's a favorite.
again, night 1 we had EVPs running out our ears.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy.
Yeah, and there was the first investigation. Were you guys there for the very first investigation there?
No, second one.
Okay. When we come back, I'll tell you. I know I've told you, but we'll talk about it real quick, and then
Absolutely.
I want to get into. Well, maybe I want to hear some of the stories from St. Ignatius, some of your experiences.
Oh Lord.
From investigating, and we'll bring up Bigfoot because I know that's probably Tammy's favorite. Real quick, but then I want to spend some time on your new podcast that you guys out there. It's called Because It's Paranormal. We're here with Lance and Tami from Western Washington Investigators of Paranormal Science. We're on the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Pete Orbea. We're on WLTK-DB.com. We're going to take a quick station break, and we'll be right back. Stick around.
Download the new station calendar and never miss another show. To get it is simple and free. Just visit WLTK-DB.com to download or tap the subscribe button on our mobile app. Once the file is in your downloads folder, just double-click it, authorize it to your calendar, and boom, you have every show listed. Not only does it list the shows, but also the links to watch them live. We would like to thank Danny Loosemore for developing this for us and hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Get yours now at WLTKDB.com or just click subscribe on our mobile app. See you at the shows. Put the power of this station in the palm of your hand and download our mobile app. Visit the App Store, Google Play, and search for WLTK-DB Talk Radio and download the app for free. Listen to past shows, download our station calendar right to yours, and even shop the WLTK-DB Talk Radio mobile app. Now available on the App Store and Google Play. Download yours now.
All right. Welcome back to the show. This is the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Peter Orbea. We're on WLTKDB.com, and we have Lance and Tami with WWIPS. Go to WWIPS.org. Check out their website. We've been talking about some of their team experiences and their experiences. Lance, before the break, brought up the Masonic Lodge here in Port Gamble. And we more recently have been able to investigate it during our ghost conference. And so the very first investigation, you would have loved this, Lance, and it would have solved the mystery right away, I'm sure, until a little bit later when I figured it out. So we had just started the very first investigation, and it was, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes into it. I remember I was exhausted from running around, and so I sat down on the floor and I literally had about 20 seconds of rest, and then someone says, "What is that?" And so we had the lights off in the lodge room, but the lights on outside the lodge room were on, and we had the door shut. And what was seen was these feet. You could see the shadows in under the door, the crack of the door, and they went left to right, and then they went right to left, and then they came back and stood in the middle. And I shot up pretty fast and went over there and opened the door, expecting to see somebody that was maybe like looking for where we were. And there was nobody there. And I went down the stairs to the first floor. There was nobody there. I went outside. There was nobody around. And somebody had mentioned Masonic practice of when a meeting is being held, they post a guard at the door.
The
Tyler, yes.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was, I mean, I felt like we were in there for like minutes, and then that happened. And it was just, it blew me away. But,
Nice.
you know, what kind of EVPs have you gotten out of there?
Well, my favorite one, well, I've got two favorites. And one was Audible. And we had a group of people, and there were 5, 6, however many there was. And we were kind of having that lull, you know, nothing going on or anything. And Tami was, you know, of the frame of mind of, I'm going to stir things up a little bit. And she went over and rapped with the knocker on the door of preparation, which
I know better than to do.
Tami.
Right.
And-
I'm one appendage away from being a Mason. I just can't help myself.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, I know what that is. And one of the reasons why I love doing Masonic lodges is because I feel like if they're going to say something, that they might say something because there are women in here.
Right.
Not, you know, doing the men's work. And it's okay if the women are in there, but not doing ritualistic things. So
Yeah.
I knew better than to knock on that door 3 times.
And I won't say exactly what I said, but I was like, so help me God, if somebody answers that knock, I'm going to crap myself. And
then
as soon as I got that out of my mouth, there was an audible whistle, just like that.
Just like that.
And everybody in the room just stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody please tell me that was you that whistled. And everybody was like, nope.
No.
And I was like, we got that right.
It was a really good moment. Yeah.
It was just absolutely off the hook. And then like the next night, because I feel like that was night 1.
Yeah, I think so.
And then it was either later that night or the next night, nobody showed up like the second one. And you were all like, well, why don't you guys just lock the door and do your thing?
Yeah.
And so we did. And we went back up to the lodge, and we were just kind of doing our thing, doing EVPs. And I was like, okay, I'm the secretary at my lodge. Do you mind if I sit down at the secretary's chair? So I sat down and I opened up my notebook, you know, that I used to take notes on during investigations. And I'm like, okay, I've got my notebook. I'm ready to start the lodge meeting. And not audible, but clear as a bell on the digital voice recorder, you hear, but it's dark.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
And we played that back, and I remember just feeling my stomach come up, and I was like, yes.
That's awesome.
But the
Very
reason
cool.
I love that so much is because I think that Masons, what's the other ones?
Well, you're
the ones that drink a lot but aren't Masons.
No, they're Masons, but they're like a branch of the Masons. It's the Shriners.
They are always joking. They're always laughing. They're like,
They're
they do very serious stuff, but they, you know, they have an open mind, and they're really great guys.
Yeah.
And one of the other Masonic lodges that we investigated prior to this, one of the first place that we investigated actually,
number 1.
We were there for days, and we knew that there had been activity there, and we were there for days. We didn't get anything. And the very last day, we sat down in the lodge hall, and Lance said, okay, like we're leaving. This is the last recording that we're going to be doing. Just say something. And like it, just like the one at Franklin Lodge, it didn't miss a beat. It said something. Done. I mean, I just love it.
It was a Shriner. It had to be a Shriner.
That goes to show you take your personality with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Elements.
And it showed, that because one of the things that I was kind of, wondering about at that first investigation at a lodge that we can't disclose,
Sure.
a lot of it we were thinking was residual. A lot of it.
Okay.
But that was right off the bat. It was like, okay, nope, these brothers are here. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
They just,
they said you're going to have to
kind
wait
of camera
for the
shy.
secret.
Yeah. And, that
yeah.
just may be who they are. That's really cool. I love the sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That just adds a lot to it. As far as the human element of it, it just adds so much. I've got a couple people checking in. Good friend of the show, Mary, thanks for watching, and Jessica checking in as well. Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. Okay, let's go back to St. Ignatius real quick. What was like the freakiest thing you experienced there?
The minute we showed up there, seriously.
Okay.
Well, the freakiest thing that I experienced, I went outside and there was like something was moving. It was a raccoon. I'm not going to like drag it on, but I was scared for my life out there. I didn't know what was happening. And, I just hear this thing coming at me. I'm like, hey, is there somebody out there? Like, oh, it was freaky.
Yeah.
But for me, like that downstairs hallway where I feel that's where you would come into the hospital. And that was kind of the heart of the hospital, right? You would come in, the reception was there, you would check in, and there was just no shortage of, if you literally stopped and just listened for, 30 seconds or a minute, you would hear something. And I think it's just the heart of that hospital. Is still going. There's footsteps walking up and down. There's, like Lance said, people coughing. There's shadows going back and forth.
I got to get out there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because right off the bat, we showed up like several hours early just so that we could see it in the daylight.
Sure.
And so we showed up, parked, got out of the car, and we heard a scream from like the second or third floor.
Wow.
And we talked to the gal who runs the place,
Val Gregory.
Val Gregory, and she checked the cameras. There was nobody there.
They have motion sensor cameras everywhere in that hospital because
vandalism and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Vandalism. And she gets text alerts every time there's something that moves in front of the camera. So that was the first person we talked to as soon as she showed up. We were like, hey, we heard a scream come from, it was like third floor or something.
Well, and the first words out of her mouth was, I believe it.
Oh, she's seen too much to not believe it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it turns out that was the wing that they had just recently opened. They had just made it safe enough for people to go over there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was like they, made it safe. So then the ghosts are like, oh, it's back. It's how it needs to be. I can move around. I can do my stuff now. And
right.
Okay. So for time purposes, this is a rapid fire.
Yes.
Okay. It's an easy one, but okay. I'll ask Lance first, and then Tami, you can take the follow-up. Bigfoot, relic species or interdimensional?
Relic species.
Or all the above?
Relic species.
Okay. Tami, what do you...
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, what do you think?
Oh, I have heard it out of, the alien Bigfoot, or any of those things.
Right.
I mean, I still am on the fence
Okay.
on whether there's even anything out there.
Yeah. And if that's where you're at, that's where you're at.
I love the science about the mid-tarsal break and all of the things that like Dr. Meldrum brings to it. He's a phenomenal scientist. But why haven't we found any concrete evidence I can't get over that. I can't get over it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this? So I said all of the above. What do you think? So Lance, what do you think about this? And this is just something that I don't know how it came to me or whatever, but what if Bigfoot is a relic species who's learned how to harness Earth's energy in different ways than we have, therefore camouflaging themselves or being able to go in and out of trees? Because they've been on the planet for so long, they have learned to unlock Earth.
And this is the scientist in me, okay? I like the idea.
You're breaking him, Pete. You're breaking him.
I like the idea. I love you, Pete. I love you, buddy. I really do. I can't go there. It's because I look at it from a biologist's point of view.
Absolutely.
I believe that when we finally do, quote unquote, find a body, we're going to find that this is probably the closest thing we have to a living missing link between us and apes.
Yeah.
And
well, I'll even throw this at you.
Mm-hmm.
There's different types of spirits, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So there could be different types of Bigfoots.
Oh, I believe. Yeah. Well, there is. I can name them.
I could just keep going on.
I would be more inclined to go down that road that you're leading down than Lance would.
It's just a not together theory.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the means, it's a thought.
No, right.
But when when you're just looking at the two types of fields of research, I think about ghosts. Well, nobody's invented a meter that says there's a ghost standing right there, right?
Not yet.
We're working on it.
Right. But it's why we should try things, right? Yeah. And so with Bigfoot, that's kind of where I'm at as well.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the two things, but what if there's a third? We don't know. We don't know. So anyways, I just wanted to get that out there. I just wanted to see kind of what side of research that you kind of were drawn to, Lance. And so the biological side, that's great.
You're going to want to listen to about 2 episodes then.
All right. Yeah. I'm open to it. But speaking of your podcast, let's talk about that while we've got some time. So you guys have launched a podcast called Because It's Paranormal, and you guys can actually listen to it on their website. So again, that's WWIPS.org. You can actually catch episodes right on their website there. So tell us about the podcast. When did you start it? That sort of thing.
Well, I think we've been talking about the podcast for a couple of years now, and so we just kicked it off here in January, and so we're 5 episodes in.
Great.
We're working on number 5 right now.
Yeah, and they drop every other week.
Awesome.
And I think the goal for me in this podcast is, like you were saying, we're researching ghosts and we're researching Bigfoot, but nobody is researching ghosts and Bigfoot. I want everything paranormal.
Yeah.
I want it all. Why can't we use the same scientific methods and research that we use to look at afterlife, as we do with elemental and cryptids and everything, and
physical
and physicals.
Yep.
I just feel like I want to get information out there to people. I always say, like, where's my nerds at? Because
yep, we want our nerds.
I'm a total nerd when it comes to this, and I know that there are nerds out there who are with me that we want to look at the science of paranormal investigating, no matter what it is in the paranormal that you're investigating. So we try to bring all different aspects. We've done haunted locations, we've done Bigfoot episode, and we've done an episode on aliens, which obviously was my episode. But and we will get to more paranormal things.
Hey,
yeah.
So
that was my first episode of WTF Parastrange.
Yes. So we like to add little things in there to keep it,
fun,
rocking. So we'll do a story, and then once a month I will do a gear review. So I want to look at all of the different pieces of equipment. We did voice recorders, digital recorders, and just to kind of tell people what's out there. And like one of the big takeaways is you don't need to spend $600 on a digital recorder. You really don't, because your phone actually has a really good microphone nowadays, and you can get good recorders. You don't have to spend all that money and get a 4-channel recorder and not know how to use it anyway. So that's what I do with that. And then Lance has a WTF segment where he just finds like a crazy story and we talk about it, because I think that that's just fun.
That's great. That's great. What have you guys ever worked with tape before for audio? You guys ever gone?
Oh yeah.
That's so funny. You didn't tell him something, did you?
No.
Actually, one of the first investigations that I ever did here in Tumwater with my bestie, who's still on my team, we did with a karaoke machine.
Nice.
This is like the year 2000. Okay. It was a Christmas present for my son at the time. And so it's this big like machine. It's not that big, but it's pretty big, and it has a handle and a microphone that you pull off of it. And so we're sitting in an old cemetery
that we won't name,
and we're doing an EVP session, and I literally have the cassette tape in my living room still, where it said like, we said, what do you want us to do? And it said, get out.
Wow.
So
nice. That was a good mic.
It was a really good mic. And so I do believe in trying different mediums.
Oh yeah.
There is a science to think about. It's magnetic tape versus digital. And I talk about that on the gear review also.
Awesome. Oh, that's cool. What's your guys's right now? What's your favorite piece of equipment to work with, try out, do experiments with? What's your favorite piece of equipment right now?
I mean, right now, I really love walking around, with the tri-field meter, and when you've got that, stuff's going on, and you just kind of start paying attention to it. And the nice thing about the tri-field meter that we use is it is digital, and it will tell you it's a power line, it's a Wi-Fi signal, it's a radio signal. But the one you want to watch is it'll say unknown.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's when I get excited.
Well,
that's when you record it.
Yeah. When. Well, it's recording all the time.
The hertz?
But you're recording all the time.
Yeah.
Because it does data log, and but I'm still a kid. I love breaking out the REM pod. I love
things that go beep.
Yeah, things that go beep. And we're working on trying to get what are they called, the tripwire lights?
Yeah, I'd like to mess with some of those tripwire lights.
See what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Have you guys ever worked with? I'm keep throwing like maybe non-scientific tools, but have you guys ever worked with dowsing rods before or done any experiments with them?
I actually have.
Uh-huh.
One of the guys from Olympic Peninsula Paranormal, we're really good friends with them, and he's
Shout
taught me
out.
how to use the dowsing rods. I don't feel like I've done anything really successful with them,
Yeah.
but I get it. I get what they're supposed to be doing, and like you said, it's if you could try every way to get an answer, wouldn't you try?
Yeah.
I just think that you can't close the door on anything until you've really vetted it. And that's just kind of where I'm at with that. And I'd like to do
Yep.
more experimentation with like the spirit box.
Yep.
The tough thing for me is isolating that frequency when you do hear something, the time and the
Yeah.
frequency. I want to be able to isolate that, and right now you can't
Yeah.
do that. So I'm kind of that's what
Yeah.
I'm working on right
Because
now.
on the audio, it's like
It goes so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it scans so fast. I'm the pendulum guy.
He is
okay.
the pendulum guy.
So yes, there are sue me nerds out there, but I love breaking the pendulum out. I've had really good success, and to really break away from the scientific community, and I know you'll appreciate this. I am pretty confident that my spirit guide is my granddad,
Okay.
and he talks to me through my pendulum. And now,
You
please
found
address
the
your
way.
hate mail to lance@wips.org.
No hate mail from this show, man. Everyone's cool that watches this
Not
show.
from these peeps.
Everyone's cool that watches this show.
Right.
That's for you, man. That's
Yeah,
that's your
Yeah.
thing. That's
Right.
That's personal to you, and if you're
yeah,
feeling it, if your gut's telling you it's your grandfather that's with you,
right.
trust it, recognize those feelings, recognize it,
Yep.
right?
And
And
we,
so I say, if anyone wants to give you hate, whatever, well, that's a personal thing for you, and that's your
Yeah.
thing.
right.
You're not
exactly.
doing it if you feel like you're getting a message from him. You're not like, I'm going to disprove that he's here.
Yeah.
It's your personal thing. It's your personal
Right.
thing you're doing, and so I think that's great.
Well, and some of the information we've gotten that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and that's the thing about mediumship and in paranormal investigations is how credible is the validation that
Right.
that a psychic gets, right? And how can
Right.
you quantify that, or how can
Yes.
you show a direct line to an actual piece of history, and was the person
Mhm.
unbiased, were they unfamiliar with the location? There's so many things. To me, that's one of the biggest challenges, is investigating the investigators.
Right.
Right.
And
Mhm.
and mediums that you bring along, and nobody's perfect.
Right.
I don't think anybody is 100% on all the time, and so
Right.
I think that presents another challenge, because it's the human element of it, right?
Right.
The human part of it. That's where it's at. But we're out of time. I gotta have you guys on. Gotta have you guys on again, because there's so much more that we can talk about. But
Oh, heck yeah.
for everybody watching, listen out there, or maybe you're going to catch the archive version, and we're coming to the end of the show here. Go to WWIPS.org. Check out Lance and Tami's team out there. Check out what they're doing. They've got places they've investigated. Learn about the team. Plus, you can check out Because It's Paranormal, the podcast. And congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
And Jessica's saying, yes, nobody's perfect, but thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Indeed. And are you guys, I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you guys going to the Oregon Ghost Conference?
Yes.
We will definitely be there.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I will see you
With
there.
stickers.
All right. Well, give me a sticker.
Yes.
I may have some I think I still have some stickers I need to get out there. Well, come by and say hi. And again, that's March 24th through the 26th at OregonGhostConference.com. It's in Seaside, Oregon. It's such a fun conference. There's so many different people to meet, and bounce ideas off of, have different points of view, but you can learn so much. But most importantly, it's a lot of fun. So I look forward to seeing you guys there.
You too.
And
Absolutely.
be sure to tune in next week, guys. I've got probably one of my favorite paranormal investigators out there, Joe Teeples. He's such a cool guy, neat guy. And so he's coming on next week. And then the week after, I've got Rocky Smith from the Oregon Ghost Conference coming on. And
Rocky.
yeah. And thank you guys again. That's WWIPS.org. Go check out the team. There's no H.
Nope.
They've made a
Your
mistake.
mind wants to spell it that way.
I mean,
It's okay.
WHIPS. Yeah. But go check out their work, see what they're up to, check out their podcast Because It's Paranormal, and be sure you catch all the rest of the shows this week here on WLTK-DB.com. And I still don't have a toast yet, but I just want to get out there to everybody to take a few minutes, be present wherever you're at, once a day, twice a day, however it works for your schedule, but be present, be in the moment, be with the ones you are with, like actually be there with them, and just enjoy being in the moment. And we'll see you next week here on the Paranormal Pete Show for episode 95 with Joe Teeples. But big thanks again, Tami, Lance. Really appreciate you guys coming on tonight, and best of luck. And we'll see you in Oregon. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
You too.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.